Siddere Cobra.
Sir, before I make any points on the President's address on the motion of thanks, we would like to sincerely acknowledge that our Honorable Rashtrapati Ji, we'll start with an appreciation for him. He's been, from the time he was a political science professor in Vidyasagar College in South Chobbish Pargana, now 52 years later, he is our Honorable Rashtrapati Ji with a wealth of experience. We wish him happiness, we wish him health and good luck in whatever he does, because as we know, this is, in this term, the last time he addressed the joint session of Parliament. Sir, the Speaker who moved the motion on behalf of the government, the Speaker who moved the motion on behalf of the government started off with some yoga, telling us about yoga, which we think is a very nice way to start his speech. And after that, he went on to tell us some wonderful stories about little known people who had won the Padma Shri and how the government had found these people and had awarded them with the Padma Shri. They are not celebrities, they are kind of unknown people who've done good work. In that same tone, I wish to enlighten this House about a few more unknown people with 3 or 4 little stories before I get down to the meat of my speech. Sir, Sudarshan Surin lives in Marambhangal village in Odisha. Sir, when his 2-year-old son fell ill, he took his son on a bicycle and traveled 7 kilometers to reach the Megapal hospital. On reaching there, the doctors advised him to take his child to Sambalpur hospital, which was about 40 kilometers away from Megapur. The baby was critical. So he asked the auto rickshaw drivers to take him there, but he only had 500 rupee notes with him. After 3 hours, sir, sadly, the baby succumbed to his injuries. So there are many stories like this. There is Komali, an 18-month-old baby. The parents didn't have money to buy demonetization, and the private hospital in Andhra Pradesh, and it's not about Andhra Pradesh, it is across the country, but this particular incident was in Andhra Pradesh. The private hospital refused to accept old currency notes. Komali is now no more with us. Suresh was 18, sir, in Uttar Pradesh. He was a BSc second year student. He hanged himself. And he could not withdraw money. Why? Because he couldn't pay the college examination fees. Or take the case, sir, in West Bengal of Noel Topner, who was, Suresh was 18, Noel Topner was 52. He was chief manager of a Central Bank of India branch. He lost consciousness and he had a cardiac arrest while he was working. So I asked this government, stories like these, they don't want Padma Shris here, sir, their families. Padma Shri is not required. 1 minute silence in Parliament, at least. In Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. 120, some people say 135. My party, the Trinamool Congress, from day one, has been very clear on our views. Within 50 minutes of the Honorable Prime Minister finishing his speech on November the 8th, and I use the word historic because history has 2 sides. History can be good and history can be bad, so it was historic, no doubt about it. So this list has been compiled. The media has this list of 120 deaths. Sir, no Padma Shri, 1 minute, sir. But the problem is, has the government acknowledged these deaths? Because it's demonetized. Has the government acknowledged these deaths? Have they expressed any condolences for these deaths? Have they told us from November, December, January how these deaths will be prevented? What measures did they take? Sir, in a situation like this, It cannot be business as usual. It cannot and it must not be business as usual, sir. We have been focusing on the pains of demonetization, and that's why, sir, today I will be sticking only to the President's address. 56 seems to be a favorite number of this government in terms of 56 of Chappan. But I am only sticking to 55 because this is section 55 on page 11 in this 4,902 word presidential address, which refers to demonetization in about 8 or 9 lines. Thank you. Sir, we are asking for withdrawal of deposit limits. So yesterday the finance minister in his speech, sir, we didn't come from my party to listen to his speech, nor did we come the previous day, because we believe, and our point was, that for demonetization, Parliament was ignored. And that was our way of stating over the last 2 days that you people don't need Parliament, because you have a one-man band. Sir, the withdrawal limits, because to quote yesterday from the finance minister's speech, and I'm going back to section 55 of the president's speech, the finance minister said, a trusted custodian of public money. That's the government's role. I ask, sir, are you only the trusted custodian of public money? Because you are not allowing the public to withdraw their private money for which they paid tax for. So, we appeal, we urge this government to please stay away from platitudes. Tomorrow or Monday, please pick up all those, stop all the restrictions you have placed on the withdrawal limits, sir. One thing got confirmed after the speech in this booklet of 4,000 words and the finance minister's speech. The good thing, at least, the government has confirmed that demonetization has not worked. Because if it had worked, they'd have given us some numbers. They would have shared how much has been collected, how much has been given out. I read the economic survey, sir, with a great deal of interest, and I must congratulate the government on the literary part of it. There were some beautiful quotations, including Ramakrishna Mission, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Aravinda Adiga. Very, very nice, the literary quotations. I'm not getting into the content or the financial part, because there was nothing there, sir. There was nothing there in the budget even worthwhile. Sir, this is the story of demonetization, and from demonetization, sir, when my party spoke here in this house on November the 24th, and the Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister was sitting there, eyeball to eyeball, I told him, through you, sir, that you can arrest all 46 Trinamool MPs here. You can even try and arrest Mamta Banerjee in Bengal, but that will not stop us from opposing your policy. And it's nothing personal. We are opposing you for economic reasons. We are opposing you because we think these are anti-people. We are opposing you because we think these are draconian measures. We are opposing you because you haven't thought this out. We are opposing you for these reasons. And we said, sir, with all humility, that don't do political dhamki mat dikhao, don't do political vendetta on us. And that is exactly, sir, you gave me an opportunity to speak in the morning. I managed to express myself for 3 minutes, so I will not repeat those points, sir. Our leader of our party in the Lok Sabha, our MP, also, December 30th, January 3rd. 2 arrests, hardly 1 month after we made hardly 2 weeks after we made our points on demonetization. Sir, political vendetta is not a solution in a democracy. Sir, interestingly on demonetization, it's been around for about 12 weeks. Every 2 weeks, the government comes up with a new reason as to why demonetization took place. First, it was terrorism. For the next 2 weeks, it became black money. For the next 2 weeks, to remove corruption. For the next 2 weeks, something crazier, that to improve the digital economy. For the next, day before yesterday, we were hearing to widen the tax net. And now yesterday we are hearing to boost the real estate market. Sir, these are not the reasons, but I'm not surprised, because when it comes to slogans, it's very difficult to beat this government. Really, they come up with some really good slogans. Startup India, Skill India, Make in India, Digital India. So our request is to make all these slogans and come up with a new slogan, sir, to this government. Be India. Just be India. Sir, para 4, section 4 of the President's address says, at the core of all my government's policies is welfare. Sir, I beg to differ. Our belief from the Trinamool Congress is at the core of this government's policy is the PM. Not the Honorable PM, but the PM. The PM means Photo Mantri. Photo Mantri, sir. I have a mother. We all love our mothers. She's 79. She also needed to go in Calcutta to the bank. I was traveling, so I couldn't have her money collected to the bank. So I sent my 2 colleagues with her to help her to collect the money. I also had another option, sir. I could have put her in a queue. I could have sent some cameras there. I could have got those pictures shot. I could have put it up on the social media. And then I said, Derek, what a good son you are. But there are others, sir, who may be having a 96-year-old mother who indulge in being a photo mantri. Whether it's a photo mantri, whether it's a Coldplay concert, there also you're giving them messages just a few days after Notebandi. In fact, I'm completely bored with this name of Notebandi or demonetization. I think we need to come up with a new name, sir, but on this issue, sir, in Japan, same thing, ridiculing people who are standing in the queues. This is all the result of being a 24/7 PM, as opposed to the Honorable PM. I can give you another example, sir. This Khadi calendar, fabulous. My colleagues here are talking about the Mahatma disappearing from the currency notes. Yesterday, I don't know if the finance minister will get into trouble. He mentioned the Mahatma 4 times in his budget speech. Last 2 years I've been reading a lot about Gowalkar. After listening to the views of Gowalkar, I was wondering that they need to make a choice. Is it Gowalkar or is it the Mahatma? Sir, Khadi, it's the same thing, sir. So these photo opportunities are not the solution for these problems, sir. Because now, if you really examine demitroization, sorry, I said it wrong, demitroization or demonetization or Notebandi, you call it what you want. Demitroization. No, this is not Amit Mitra, this is demitroization. Sir, on a serious note, and I appreciate we're having a debate. We didn't interrupt them and they're not interrupting us, so that's all in good spirit. Although I was a little, as an aside, if I may say to my senior Ravi Shankar ji is going to get a lot of brownie points today, because I was counting, he mentioned the name of somebody 13 times in his speech. That is very, very good. He's still nowhere compared to my colleagues from the AIDMK, but he's getting there.
This is too much. That is wrong. That number is wrong. But I allow the light to wait. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
I allow the light to wait.
Sir, on a not so lighter vein, Para 17, sir, Section 17 of the President's address, sir. Section 17 deals with transforming the lives of farmers and the like. Sir, I have 5 or 6 very important points to make on this. Sir, the informal sector accounts for 45% of the GDP and about 80% of employment. Unemployment has increased by double percentage points in the last few weeks and months. We told you this, by the way, on the 8th of November night. I didn't, Mamta Di did. That's the second time I'm mentioning her name.
I'm not counting, and I don't propose to exaggerate it also. Go ahead.
once. Okay. 25 crore daily workers, sir, have lost their employment. 12 lakh power looms in Maharashtra have shut down. The leather industry in West Bengal is headed towards trouble. We all know what is happening to the tea gardens, sir. I don't want to repeat about reverse migration because the LOP made the point. Let's move on to agriculture, sir. Cooperative banks were not allowed to exchange demonetized notes. No money to buy seeds, no money to buy fertilizers. Sir, the APMC, or the Agricultural Produce Market Committee, prices dropped by 42 to 46%. Sir, you take auto sales. Auto sales are down to a 16-year low. So it's not only about farmers and the unorganized sector, it's happening everywhere. Auto sales reduced by 19% for four-wheelers, 9% for two-wheelers, and this big second-hand car market which was growing in India is push, it's down to zero. MSME. My state has one of the highest MSME growths in the country. MSME decline, not my state, but overall decline 50%, 35% job losses in MSME sector. Sir, these are hard numbers. I started off with emotion and real stories, but these are hard numbers. Sir, the Kirana stores. Did no one think that the FMCG, the Kirana stores, 90 to 92% of transactions in a Kirana store takes place in cash? This is not black money. This takes place in cash. 40%, there's a drop in FMCG sales. Sir, Manrega. My favorite quote in Manrega was made in March 2015. Now with the jugglery of numbers, they're saying Manrega number has gone up. You check, Manrega number didn't go up, it went down. Now it seems to have gone up. But my favorite quote on Manrega, आजादी के 7 साल के बाद आप लोगों को गड्ढे खोदने के लिए भेजना पड़ा. Who said this? The Honorable Prime Minister said this. The Honorable Prime Minister said this. And now they want to take credit for the Manrega also. And while, sir, the average days of employment for Manrega per household last year, sir, was 34.84. I'm giving you these numbers, dispute these numbers. 34.84 days. I'm very happy that in my state, Bengal, Manrega provides at least 100 days of wage employment. 85 lakh person days of work has been generated. 18,000 crores in the last few years. That's why Bengal is number one in Manrega. Number one. And I've got all these figures here, sir. If you compare Bengal on any of the parameters, any parameter, to the national average in the last 3 years, Bengal, sir, is ahead. Manufacturing sector, sir, same problem. Sir, I want to move on to, I'm a bit surprised that this was not, shocked actually, that this was not even mentioned at all. It was mentioned in para 55, in section 55 of the President's address, when it came to funding. So this is 55. I just want to get to 55 so we are all on the same page and I'm not going off the subject, sir. If you look at 55, this talks about the evils of black money, corruption, counterfeit. None of the two speakers who spoke from the government today, sir, touched on this, but I think it's I don't know why they didn't, but that's I would like to. Not a word about offshore accounts. Government has refused to disclose the data on Indian citizens who hold large sums of money in foreign accounts. No action on SIT. And I must be thankful to the Honorable President for using a term in this section 55. He used the term money power in his speech. We have been saying this for the last more than a decade. It is money power which leads to bad media power. Not all media is bad. Money power which leads to bad media power, which leads to muscle power. Muscle power is dangerous, sir, in politics. That's why when we hear these stories, sir, of people who try to be holier than thou, they try to be more pious than everybody else. But you have to see what percentage of the BJP accounts are from undisclosed sources. And now, again, what is this nonsense about bringing this 20,000 rupees down to 2,000 rupees?
Yes,
Okay,
nonsense is not a parliamentary
Okay,
word.
I'll give you a better word. What is this delusion?
Senseless.
No, delusion is happy. This is a delusion. Actually, it's an illusion. Because you bring 20,000 down to 2,000 for your electoral funding, so nothing is going to happen. Nothing. But the fun part is, that's the good part. They also know nothing's going to happen. Chalao, abhi UP elections, chalao. You know, we said corruption. So let's slip this in. Let's slip this in. Sir, Panama Papers. We've been talking about the Panama Papers. There are 1,195 Indians, 25,000 in a single HSBC account in Switzerland. Please bring this money back to India. Prescribe a time limit. Then, sir, in the money they talk about non-performing assets. Sir, that's another fine number. 6 lakh crores of non-performing assets. And what do you do yesterday? Who are you kidding? 10,000 rupees yesterday. Sorry, this is not with the President's address, but as I taking your advice in a holistic. You got 6 lakh crores of non-performing assets in your banks, and you give 10,000 crores yesterday for capitalization of banks. Let's come to para 23. Para 23 where, and the speaker today also from the Ravi Shankar ji also was talking a lot through para 23 about women and children. So the Indian woman has truly progressed. From 1960, where an Indian woman on an average was bearing around 5.7 children per woman. How beautiful, in 50 years, that number has come down to about 2.5. That is huge progress. And hats off to the Indian woman. They spoke about Kanyashri. They spoke about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. I want to speak about Kanyashri because in my state in Bengal, lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of young girls have benefited from this scheme. No wonder why this is one of the important reasons why, one of the many reasons why in April, May, June, we won such a fabulous re-endorsement of Mamtadi in Bengal. Third time. Sir, here's a very interesting number, then you will know who is serious about looking after the girl child and who is not. Okay, because our one has also got UN award. UN award is less important. Look at this number, sir. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Good that they saw the scheme of a state, rebranded it and used it. No problem. That's good. That is good federalism. The budget for that, for the whole country, is 200 crores. Not my number, their number. West Bengal, one state, is 1,000 crores. So we are serious about it. We are serious about it, and we are serious about... But out of that 200 crores, you please look at the advertising budget for that. Sir, women's reservation. Not a word about women's reservation today in the speech. Not a word. They talk about women's reservation. We have been asking for 33% women in parliament. Then we said, what do we do? If nobody wants 33% women and they lecture about women, what did we do? In the Lok Sabha election of 2014, I'm still on 16 because we did even better there. 2014, already Trinamool Congress MPs in Lok Sabha, out of the 34 we won, 34% already are women. 34% are women. Sir, this is actually putting your mouth, this is not being a photo mantri, sir. Otherwise, this will only become photo opportunities. Sir, look at the children. I was looking through the presidential address. The half of class 5 students in rural India cannot read at the class 2 level. I asked this government, what have they done? What have you done? Have you mentioned even once in your thing, ICDS? You haven't mentioned ICDS in your entire document. Sir, now we come to Para 37, sir. This talks about communal harmony. And, as he should have, both the speakers on the government, they were all praised, as they should be, for their Honorable Prime Minister's track record on communal harmony for the last 2.5 years. But I'm a student of modern history. My brother is, so I try to be his shishya. I have some very interesting views from 2002 on communal harmony. There was a chief election commissioner in 2002. Now there are elections coming up. So the election commissioner was in 2002, and the BJP will never get angry with me because I'm quoting Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee had some serious things to say about the Chief Minister of Gujarat on this issue. One may have differences, quote Vajpayee ji, one may have differences over the decision or observations of the Chief Election Commissioner with regard to the assembly polls in Gujarat. There are constitutional means to deal with such matters, unquote. I didn't say this. Former Prime Minister Vajpayee ji said this about someone in 2002. So all very well, you come to Delhi and then you talk about the last 2.5 years and you're the paragon of virtue. Because I come from a city and a state when the India-Pakistan match couldn't be held anywhere, they had to come to Calcutta. When Ghulam Ali had nowhere to perform, he had to come and we welcomed in Bengal. Hum Paanch speech, this is 2002, documented, in September 2002. One second, sir. I'm quoting from the speech in my broken Hindi. Hum Paanch Hamara 25. Hum Paanch Hamara 25. The Gujarat government conveniently could not find a copy of the speech. Thankfully, we managed to find a copy. I'm reading it to you in English because my Hindi is, I'm still learning. This is I quote. So what should we do? Do we go and run relief camps? Should we open child producing centers? Hum Paanch, Hamara 25. Those who have got no education, those who have only got religious education, would they not become a burden on Gujarat? Who said this? The current Honorable Prime Minister of India. So when we are in praise, and there's nothing wrong in being in praise, because my brother-in-law is from Gujarat, my wife's sister's husband. And he tells me apparently there's a tradition in Gujarat, I don't know whether he's a good Gujarati or not a good Gujarati, but he said before a wedding, and the new bridegroom comes, everyone praises the bridegroom, because they don't know whether he'll turn out to be good or bad. So that also might be a case, but that's perfectly fine with me. Sir, Digital India. This is one of my favorite subjects. Para 60. And they both spoke about it. Both the speakers spoke about it. I am on this medium for the last 6 years. I know this medium. This is about Digital India. No. This is about divisive India. Sir, I ask through you, sir, to this government, to name me one democracy in the world where the head of government attacks its own citizens for holding divergent views. Only, sadly, our democracy. And I'm not just speaking up in the air, sir. I have the facts. 26 Twitter handles that give out rape threats, communal threats, are followed by the Prime Minister of India. 26. 2 of these Twitter handles have been suspended by Twitter. Now, this is not Trinamool or Congress or CPM or DMK. This is an international company called Twitter. You want the names of these handles? Bhatsala, not unparliamentary because that's his name. Rahul Raj is the name. And Mahiviram is the name. Suspended by Twitter. Where are we headed, sir? And these Twitter trolls, they are paid handles. They are invited, and this is not some private thing, this is public information. It's even published now in a book. They are invited to the Prime Minister's house for a nice digital social media party. So when you talk to me about Digital India, give me these examples, because these are real examples. Give me the example of Amir Khan. There is documentary evidence to prove that Amir Khan's entire thing where he lost the contract to that company was created. Sir, we are mainstreaming hate. I tell you, sir, I'm saying this with responsibility. We are mainstreaming hate. Today, within a matter of minutes, we can create a hashtag. Within a matter of minutes, something, Bengal is burning. Within a matter of something, somebody throws one piece of beef on a temple in-house. They take a picture and it'll go over the place. This is bad, sir. And I appeal, it's all humility, sir. As I said, the big slogan we need is Be India. And I don't blame only the BJP for this. That would be very unfair. The RSS is even worse when it comes to this kind of social hate mongering. On Twitter. Sir, on the digital economy. Now leave that digital part, I've made my point. 4 out of 5 villages in India, sir, don't have a bank. Where do we have internet connectivity all over India? 7% of all transactions on a debit card, sir. So you're looking at the time, I'll take a few minutes and we only have one speaker. Little extra. Thank you. 4 out of 5 debit card, sorry sir, 6% of debit card transactions when they are made in India, sir, only 6% is used to have a transaction. The rest are only used to withdraw money. So we are all for a digital India. In that sense, we are all for empowerment. But you want to go from point 1 to point 10, you can mix 1 or 2 steps. But you cannot miss all the steps, sir. 80% of women today in India do not have a bank account. The National Optic Fiber Network, which is a great idea, the targets have not been met. So it's not about digital. You talk about the Kisan, you talk about the Jawan. It's been a great monsoon, sir, so things have been better. So you want to take credit for that. Nobody today in the President's speech mentioned a word about the global tailwinds. What was the price of 2014-15? What was the international oil price? What is that price now? So you've got that. Good. Then you talk about bringing the money back. There is now you bring, yesterday I heard that there's a new bill coming to catch the king of good times and bring him back to the bad times. Then you tell me about Jawans. So very good. That the Jawans can book their tickets online is very good. But also please see the videos of the Jawans who are getting food in some places which we would not even give to our pet animals at home. It is so bad. They are expressing themselves, sir. Sir, I have 2 broad points to make before I conclude.
How many more points?
Two broad points. I'll take 5 minutes, sir.
5 minutes, okay.
Yeah. Para 66. This government calls it cooperative federalism. Mamata Banerjee and Trinamool Congress call it operative federalism. Because just saying cooperative federalism will not be good enough. And I want to share with you one example, sir, of cooperative federalism and the other of operative federalism. Operative means you can make it happen. And we, from this side of the house to that side of the house, we made GST happen. That was operative federalism at its best. What view the Congress party had when they were in government, what view the BJP had, that sometimes it happens. Where you sit depends on what stand you take. We have not sat this side or this side for a long while.
No, the other way. Yeah? It is the other
GST is a very, very good example. And I think we all take pride in it, of operative federalism. Now let me give you one example of so-called cooperative federalism. One example, because it's mentioned in Para 66, and I'll take yesterday's example. This great grand design to merge the rail budget with the general budget. 3 points on that, sir. In doing this yesterday, the general budget has been used to mask all the deficiencies in the rail budget. This is the first thing which has happened. What the finance minister did not tell you yesterday, and what everybody in this country should know, because we had the rail budget yesterday, but did the finance minister tell you that this is the first time since 1978 that freight earnings have dropped. Challenge the figure. We have a few railway ministers, including Mamta Di, who gave the Vision 2020 document. And I'm glad 1 or 2 points in that railway budget were taken from that Vision 2020 document. But freight earnings are lower than last year. This is the first time it happened, sir, since 1968. And did the finance minister tell you, or did this presidential address tell you, that for the first time in 68 years, the expenditure on railways for 68 years, 67 actually, was borne by the railways. For the last 1.5 years, it's been borne by the center as well as the states making a contribution. I have no problem with my friends from Odisha. If they want to contribute for projects, there were 2 new railway line projects in Odisha. They have contributed, center have contributed, good. Jharkhand, 3 projects, 2,150 crores, good. Kerala, a suburban railway section you're doing good. What happens to the other states? What happens to the debt-stressed states? What happens to the states in the northeast? What happens to the states who do not have this kind of money? This is a real example of federalism. In conceptually merging the two, we understand. But these are you're actually killing the transport, the entire transport link of this country by doing this. Then you tell us end to end, from one end to one end, it will now be a joint transport network. We know that, sir, has been talking about it for the last 10, 20 years. Sir, all this has been happening. I've tried to keep in time. But, sir, at the end of it, all this, there's a bigger message, sir. It's time all of us need to stand up. Whether we are in parliament, we are doing it, and so many opposition parties are. There are some people outside who are doing it. The media needs to stand up. The corporate world needs to stand up. And we appeal to the media. We appeal to the corporate world. We appeal to right-thinking people. If you do not stand up now, you will never stand up. Sir, I want to paraphrase in different words what somebody said more than 100 years ago, the thought. Because nobody wants to stand up against demonetization. And we are still hearing, you're hearing what happened in the last 2 weeks in America when the corporate world is standing up. So I end, sir, with this thought. And it's a very solemn thought, sir. First, they came for the Dalits. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a Dalit. Then they came for the daily wage worker. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a daily wage worker. Then they came for the Muslims. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a Muslim. Then they came for the farmer. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a farmer. Then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak for me. Thank you, sir.